Money production. Black Raju. From Arsene Wenger to Michael Arteta, North London never stopped believing. The hard times made us stronger. Now we champions. Red and white forever. Emirates on fire tonight. Red and white, now we champions. Hard times turned us into lions. Arteta brought the fire back. Oh, now the whole world watching that. Oh, Emirates on fire. Oh, taking dreams higher. From the legends to the future stars. Arsenal forever in our hearts. Dancing under the lights, Rice fighting every night. Odegaard leading with the vision. Saliba strong on every mission. Martinelli running through the rain. KBO bringing all the pain. The pressure only made us stronger. Now the can is louder, longer. Havertz moving through defenders. Ben White locking every danger. Raya standing tall with pride. North London on our side. We remember all the years before. The nights the whole stadium roared. Every setback built our flame. Now the world remembers our name. Now we champions.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Gooner Matters. Earlier on I've done a little video on Bruno Guimaraes. I just want to remind you that we are still the champion. So yeah, that is the story. That's the lifestyle. Yeah, we are still the champions. Now I've made a little commitment to some people that I want to do a video on Vinicius Junior. And the time of this recording is at 6 p.m. South African time. Now, there's so many things that has been said about this particular saga. Now, 18 months ago, Real Madrid has presented Vinicius Junior with a new contract that will not even take him close to the 30 million per season salary. And I think under correction, they have got a 50-50 image right percentage on each club, and with Vinicius Junior now, I think Mbappe has come in with about the 30 million negotiated by his agent, and that's per season, and obviously 80% on his rights, which obviously gives you a huge amount of money on your salary, and Vinicius Junior being two-time Champions League winner with Real Madrid was not happy with what they put on the table, and he said he's not going to sign anything unless there's an improved contract. 18 months is gone, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, Arsenal has won the league and they came in. And my question to this video is Arsenal ambition with a question mark. Arsenal ambitious. Now, the narrative for the Arsenal haters, the Arteta outers, and who are also negative about my club, is that if Arsenal didn't show any ambition, knowing that Vinicius Junior, one of the most highly qualified, prolific stars of the game in recent seasons and still is, if Arsenal didn't take the opportunity after winning the Premier League after 22 years and they didn't take that opportunity to at least show their hand in this particular saga. Um, then the narrative would have been Arsenal are not ambitious. They just won the league. They just got this type of money, that type of money, and they would not they're not ambitious. The narrative now, after Vinicius has agreed new terms with Real Madrid, that I think the package is taking up to 28 or 25 million per season, and I think the image rights stays the same 50-50. And now the person I saw who broke this news was David Ornstein, and David Ornstein, being a very credible journalist in world football, I believe would not go to the extent of putting out a rumor. Number one, it will tarnish his reputation. Number two, the reputation of the Athletic will also be tarnished, not tarnished, but it will impact the reputation of both his name and the name of the Athletic media. So I believe that there was a genuine interest. Now, people, rival fans online on YouTube, wherever, have been saying there's no chance that Arsenal have this pull to throw Vinny Jr. to them. So then there's so many fans, and the same fans that have been saying that the Premier League is the most watched, the, the better league of in the world. It's the best league in the world, and whatever else they've been saying about the Premier League. So if that is your logic, the fact that the Premier League, and I'm not putting this on Arsenal, but the Premier League, for that logic, if the Premier League can't attract players like Vinicius Jr., why would you say the champions of the Premier League currently cannot pull a player like that? So, for argument's sake, this is a scenario that I can just point to you, is that Manchester City, even with Pep, if he had to add this links with Vinicius Jr., everybody would have gone and, wow, that's ambitious. Wow, this, wow, that. Vinicius Jr. to Man City, it can happen. Why? Because they have been winning titles for the last decade. So that is the Premier League. For the last few seasons, they were very average, although they still won two trophies last season. And so your logic to that effect doesn't make sense. So the Premier League champions currently, as you see here, which is the Arsenal, were very serious about this, and therefore I say the tweet that came out from David Ornstein 2 Saturdays ago had said that Vinicius Jr. linked to Arsenal, and Arsenal are serious about this. All parties have approved this deal, or this potential deal to be had. So the owners, the technical director, the manager, all of them that makes decisions at the board have all had an approved view of what they know this deal can mean for Arsenal. Number one is the wages. Number two is the transfer fee. And number three, 100% image rights to the player. Over 400,000 pounds a week. And then, of course, close to 120, 150 million euros to bring it down to pounds. You're looking at 120 million pounds of transfer fee. And that has been approved by the board, by the owners, by the manager, and by the technical director. Now, you're telling me that Vinicius Junior have used Arsenal in your logic. So maybe they did, but in the same time, you have to have the 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 the, the IQ of somebody with the logic sense of, if a billionaire in Stan Kroenke and his son Josh Kroenke, with a club the size of Arsenal and the history of Arsenal, um, Vinny, a 25, 26-year-old player, star player, can manipulate a billionaire. Why do you think he's got so many other entities, sport entities, as a billionaire, Stan Kroenke, which is worth almost $12 billion? So Vinny have convinced that man, including his son, including Andreas Berta, who has been working with so many players over these years, and of course, Mikel Arteta and the rest of the board. He has convinced them that I'm going to use you to get what I want at Real Madrid. All the Real Madrid connections, most of the Spanish media, and also the credible journalist in Spain has also came out to say that Real Madrid is not going to budge. Vinicius Junior is not going to get anything better than what he has on the table. Now, the logic with that is, now take Arsenal out of the equation. There's the negotiations that has been gone on for 18 months, and yet the stance for Real Madrid is they're not gonna budge. They're gonna give Vinny 22 million a year is what he's on, or what he will get, and the image rights is gonna stay the same, and that's a 5-year, 6-year deal. That's it. Take it or leave it. Now remember, Vinny's got a year on his contract, and I believe he accepted the terms with Arsenal. There's no way that a player, irrespective of who the player might be, can say no to the deal that has been put to him by Arsenal. And Arsenal, in the back of their mind, know that his first choice is to stay at Real Madrid. He wants to stay at Real Madrid. But if Real Madrid can't give him what he wants, he will then either stay on and finish the year and move for free. And January he can obviously go and speak to any club of his choice and make a pre-contract agreement with said club he's chosen. Now Arsenal came and is given this particular package, this offer to Vinicius Junior, and obviously with negotiating with his agents, he's accepted terms. That's why it came out again. Ben Jacobs and David Ornstein has come out that Vinicius Junior has agreed terms with Arsenal. And that is where the light has gone on in the mind of Perez, the president of Real Madrid. Arsenal are serious, and they can lose this player either on a free, or they can obviously increase or better their offer to Vinicius Junior, improved offer to Vinicius Junior. So the fact that people say that Arsenal was a stalk horse, maybe the Arsenal fans will feel that way. And in my mind is, we have tried, we were ambitious, we tried to get one of the best players in the world currently to the Premier League and to play for Arsenal in the position that he loves, and he would have been the main man. And if you look at Saka there on the right hand side, he's the most and highest paid player at this stage at Arsenal. And people say, yeah, Vinny coming in can upset the apple cart. Yes, it can. It can upset the apple cart, especially when it comes to them having to renew their contracts. Then they would want to say, "What that guy is getting this, I want this," and. So yeah, there is a snowball effect. But the fact is, we want a plug and play type of player like we have in our recent signing. Um, Bruno Guimaraes. So this is what we need is a plug in and a play type of player. And Vinicius bring that sort of profile to Arsenal. And for me that in itself, you can hate Arsenal, you can love Arsenal, you can say what you want, your opinion obviously matters to you. I can't take anything of your opinion away. But what I'm just saying, it is fact. It is well documented. It is well posted in media entities. Most of your major media outlets, ESPN, Sky, Talk Radio, BBC, TNT. Those all people, pundits alike, have reported the excitement of that profile of player coming to the Premier League champions will make a huge difference in the football world. But yeah, the fact is that Vinicius Junior's stance always been to stay at Real Madrid and to fight for a contract which he believes is worthy of. A few days ago, they've improved their contract and put it there onto Vinny. Somebody had to budge. Somebody had to lay down the pride because it might have been Vinny. It might have been, but it is Real Madrid. So Vinny had all the power. If Real Madrid didn't give him what he wanted or close to what he wanted, I believe he would have left because Real Madrid's president Perez didn't want to leave him on a free. He wanted to sell either or Vinny have to sign. And the latter is Vinny signed because of the reality and the strong case Arsenal made to pursue this deal, to show the ambition, and to show the world that they can be part in a conversation of this type of profile player. So call me deluded, call me whatever you want, but the facts is there. Go to David Ornstein, go to Ben Jacobs. These are Premier League proven journalists in the transfer world, and also even Fabrizio Romano was also part of the reporting that there is genuine movement from the Arsenal perspective, and Vinicius Junior was considering for leaving if he didn't get, or at least happy with what was offered by Real Madrid. And that is my take on it. That is my viewpoint of what transpired in the transfer saga with Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Vinicius Junior. Now we're gonna have to obviously Lika wins. The player chose the club where he was at, the club that he loves, the club that he's always wanted to be in. And he's happy with what he received. If all parties are happy. It's just the fact is that my concern is the manager. After this whole Benfica and Vinicius Junior racist saga, and the manager came out and he blamed Vinicius about what transpired in that particular moment. I don't trust that relationship unless Vinny is going to be the bigger man and accept. And of course, because Marino's not going to ask for forgiveness. And I get why, because he had to say the things that he said, because he was the manager of Benfica. So that's the only thing that can really, really upset this relationship between the manager and the player. But I think professionalism is going to be it's going to be obviously a big, big, huge part of this relationship, and I think probably be fine. What is next for Arsenal? What is the ambition that Arsenal will show now? There's other names in the market. It's not much. It's a very little couple of names out there. Bradley Barcola, Yildiz, um, that is really of that sort of potential and that ilk that will change and impact Arsenal from the left. Yes, we got this Christos Zolis that has shown very, very good talent. Scored his first goal in the first friendly, and of course had an assist in the last one we lost against Betis. What is he going to show on Saturday or on Sunday at least? So what is Arsenal's stance on who they're going to bring in now? And to be fair, the narrative will obviously now be, and as I've heard already, is that Arsenal is just putting out names. Now, if you have followed the transfer transfer window of last season, Andre Bertes came in from Atletico Madrid, and that is how he's been working. He lines up a couple of deals. Remember the Jokeres, the Sesko. He had other couple of options as well, but those two, he agreed terms with both. And of course, there was this distinction or distinguish between the manager wants this one and Bertha wants that one. That remains to be a mystery. However, Bertha works on multiple deals at the same time. He obviously has to get in the buy-in from the player. So he's interested in me. So he's gonna get my buy-in. He's gonna get me to commit to Arsenal. Then he's gonna go on to the next player in the same profile. You will then get that player to commit, and so on and so forth. You will work on various deals. Now, Yildiz is not a player that we are linked with now only. Yildiz has been a player that we are linked with before he has signed his new contract with Juventus. Barcola has been a signing or a player that both Berta and Arteta have been watching, scouting. They like the player. Obviously, Diamande was one of them. Um, and Die from Everton is one of them. Morgan Rogers was one. There's so many players that has been it's spoken to and spoken of, and in-house discussions about various players. Berta has never sat still since the last season. He's always been out there. If they've sent out the scouts to go scout this player and that player. Anthony Nusa from Leipzig as well, another good player that I rate, and so forth and so on. So there is so many names out there that Berta has been spoken to. Berta have been made contact with their camps, and obviously he's draw up a short list, and then of course he go on and try to get whatever else commitments he can get from them. So now, Bakala is probably not going to happen because the player is in deep talks and advanced talks with Liverpool. Yildiz has signed a new contract, but there is some sort of encouragement from the player. Nusa, there's encouragement from him. Ndai, there's encouragement from him. There's so many players that has been encouraged, and obviously, who doesn't want to come to the Premier League champions at this stage? We don't need to sign heavy players at this stage. We just need to add. But the left side is exactly what we need to make. Not a statement, but we need to make a signing of a specific profile player. Vinny was a dream. It could have happened, but that dream is now over. So we need to go to the players that are available still and that we have had contact with, and we have an opportunity to show what our project is and how far we can. If Wakola have to come to Arsenal tomorrow, he will be the main man on that left hand side. There's no way that Martinelli and Zolas will be first choice among him. Yes, there will be a rotation in certain games and cups and whatnot, but Bradley Bakala will be your number one player if he should come to Arsenal. Yildiz will be the number one player if he come to Arsenal. And that is the sort of type of profile that you want. You don't want to go pay a lot of money for a player and then he would not be your number one player. So whoever's going to come on that left-hand side, even if it is Ilman Ndai from Everton, it's not the best name, and people might see it as a drop down from where we were in the saga with Vinny. But then you also have to look at not affordability. You're going to have to look at the value for that money. It's a very good player, and he's taken on big teams while playing for Everton. And in a better team like Arsenal, he will also improve from where he was at. And no disrespect to Moyes and Everton. I think players around him will make him better because there is better players at Arsenal, i.e. Bruno Guimaraes, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard. Behind him would be Calafiori or Nketiah, Miles Lewis-Skelly. So those are the type of players that will be around that sort of profile. If it is a Ndai that would come in, if it is a different profile player of Nusa, maybe. I mean, Nusa scored so many beautiful goals for Norway, building up to the World Cup. Also for Leipzig, I think he was a better profile on the left-hand side than Diamande. Diamande has got better numbers and he's got the bigger profile. However, I don't see the name. I see the player that impacts in moments. That is what we need. It's a moment player, an impact player, and therefore I think Arsenal can benefit from what they have brought in. So even before Bruno Guimaraes has come in, a lot of people had made Arsenal to be the favourites. Now that obviously remains to be seen. We've never done a back-to-back Premier League in the past under Wenger, under George Graham. We've never done that. This is the opportunity for us to do it. And there's obvious reasons for that, is that we are the most stable team in the Premier League currently. We have not changed our manager. We have not sold our best players, bar Leandro Trossard. Where everybody else that is going to compete or challenge and even might win the league have done, for the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Spurs, even Crystal Palace and Fulham have made changes in management. So there's so many aspects and the unknowns of everybody else, whereas you know what you're gonna get from Arsenal. And I don't think we're gonna play the same type of football of last season because the monkeys off our back now. So I think we're gonna have a bit of a calmness, but also we're gonna do what we know we can do. We're gonna have various types of play of football. Yes, we're gonna still score from set pieces. Yes, we're gonna still score from open play. Yes, we're gonna still have penalties. We might have red cards this season. We might have whatever else of the season, penalties of the season. We didn't have that last year. We didn't have any red card, or we didn't have any penalties conceded against us in the Premier League. So yeah, we are not the PGML FC. We are not anything else that you say. We are the champions, and you better believe that, because no matter how we got over the line, we are the champions. And may that sink in. We're still going to be the champions for the next season. So every time you look at Arsenal, look at this name here. Arsenal Premier League champions 2025-2026. That is where you have to show that respect. Not City, not Liverpool, not United, not Chelsea, not Spurs, nobody else. It was Arsenal that is champions. How are you going to get there? You obviously have your own narrative about it, but we are the champions. And with that, people, you can obviously have your say. You do what you need to do. Hit the like, put out there what your comment is in the comment section below. And yeah, let's see what we can do there.
Arsenal! Arsenal! Money production. Black Raju! From Arsene Wenger to Mikel Arteta, North London never stopped believing. The hard times made us stronger. Now we champions. Red and white forever. Emirates on fire tonight. Red and white, now we champions.
All right, people, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your input, and I also would like to see you like this channel and subscribe to the channel. Be safe, be blessed, peace.